Hi, and thank you for joining me on TargetedWest.com. This is our 10th show and video for BitChute, and now as backup YouTube, and for posterity, internet.org. So if you speak during open mic during the session, you will be forever in posterity. So try to get your best game going, and you'll be there forever. I see Tranquility's here, and we've got a good game. Anyway, here we go. It's Sunday, the 5th of June, 2022. It's about 80 degrees here in beautiful Lodi, California. My name is DJ Chris, and I'll be your moderator today and host. Again, this is TargetedWest.com. We are a synthetic telepathy and dreams channel and conference. Talk about COINTEL and targeted issues like that. I've been a targeted individual for 20 years, maybe longer. A lot of people have the telepathy as I do. I call it synthetic telepathy. Some call it V2K. Some call it other stuff. So the first subject is MEDUSA. That's a mob extreme deterrent software, not software, but technology that uses the MAE, which is a microwave audio effect. So they can beam very hard, loud sounds into your head to make you move. Also, they've named a USS ship after MEDUSA. But basically, the basic premise of it is a Navy technology. It's used in the oceans. I don't think the part about it tracking satellites but submarines is ever discussed. It's very hard to find any information on this. I didn't get any pushback from the terrorists in my head, so I was able to look it up. And basically, it's the microwave audio effect, which is a Frey effect, and they're using microwaves to put sound in your head. Whether it's voices or not, I'm not quite sure. We'll need to discuss that more as we discuss this issue. The next thing is I am not a political person. I'm neither left or right. I'm a man in the middle, and I'm just trying to figure out why voices in my head. I'm not a patriot. I am patriotic. I'm not angry or mad or hate any governments or groups or anything. I'm neutral. I'm a pacifist. I'm anti-war, which probably got me in trouble. And I'm a senior, older dude who just wants to find out what's going on. And I got my friends that come visit me on Sunday. So that's what this is all about. We don't give dangerous advice. And I discourage anything violent or any discussion that's stressful or abusive. So we were talking about dreams before, and I had a little quick one. They keep putting fake money in my dreams, different money that has different sizes, and they're not real. So I always get money, and I have to go through that. I don't know if anyone else has had that. If anybody wants to talk about their synthetic dreams or having manipulation of dreams, we can talk about that in open mic. We talked about this in the preview. Mac G, who's in the house here, starts sneezing when he tries to talk to me. So they interrupt us talking by making him sneeze. And that is the craziest thing. And it has happened so many times that it's so obvious. It's really strange. Anyway, we talked about that. The city of Richmond did the Space Preservation Act, and Derek Robinson and other people were involved in that. And what my thought was on that is that we should go local to these city council members and discuss this technology to them and let them know exactly what's going on. And they went local, and they got a local ordinance passed based on the Space Preservation Act by Dennis Kucinich. in 2001 that was shot down and disappeared. So they did it, and every city you could go to and do that. You could push that, and of course get your story straight. Do like the Tastmasters or whatever they're called, to do the speeches together in the back of the Cocos or the restaurants, and they go over each other's speeches and fine-tune them. You could do that, but go local. I think you really should go local, because they did, and they got something passed. Get enough local action, you're going to have a solution to this disgusting program. We were talking about films last time. Terror with parentheses in it with the T. COINTEL film, back on my COINTEL, which is formerly I discuss as gang stalking, but COINTEL is gang stalking. It's also Zersit Zone. And it has an FBI agent that's being paid $200,000 to screw up some guy and set him up for failure, and he calls him a target. And he's talking to his handlers. Calls this person a target, person of interest. Take a break for a moment, let you rest. This is DJ Chris again. You're listening to TargetedWest.com Sunday Conference. Thank you everyone for joining. Got my Shasta Cola, local favorite. I'll advertise them over that crappy stuff that the big brands. Got more people coming in. Well, we will give advice to a new person in a few minutes as soon as I'm done with the monologue, which I'm almost 3/4 of the way there. So I saw your message in the chat. Next subject is Dr. Kilday. Dr. Kilday, as you've heard of, had an interview, and she spoke to someone about this brand of microphone I have, but not this model. It's a blue mouse. And in her interview, she said she was working with somebody before she died, and this guy also died, but they were working on using the blue mouse microphone. It's $1,100. It's used to pick up the low bass in instruments, and apparently she told the interviewer that they were able to put that microphone on the person's head and be able to hear the voices of the synthetic telepathy. Okay? Now, a lot of musical instrument places rent stuff, so you could probably rent this microphone, but you would need a standard plug for it, or an adapter for your USB, because it's XLR. And I caught that the other day when I was rewatching the video, and I said, that's a very interesting bit of information. And then all of a sudden she disappears and he disappears, and everybody quit talking about it. Again, that's blue mouse. It's got a diaphragm that's bigger. It's got springs that hold it, and it's an XLR connection. You would need to have a setup for it to work correctly. I think you can use an adapter for your computer. Don't quote me, I'm not current. I'm a DJ, but I'm kind of retired and I don't know all the current stuff. Next is an oldie but goodie, which was discussed. I made a note of this back in 2017. It was about a holisonics.com technology. And that's the audio spotlight. You've heard about this before. This audio spotlight can direct audio like a pen to a certain person, and only that person can hear it. The device is about $2,000, the big hardware device, and then it's a square and emitter, square emitter on a stand. You aim that at somebody directly, and they can hear it. And discussion years ago was that they thought that was one of the technologies being used by neighbors and such to harass the crap out of you. So, again, that's holosonics.com. go check that out and see what you think, or if they were right back in 2017, because I kept notes. Because I'm a geek. Dr. Hall mentioned it. You do know who Dr. Hall is. He wrote a couple books and he does interviews, and he's an active member, signature TI assistant and helper, and he discussed that holosonics on an interview we did, and that's where I got that from. Okay. And for the MEDUSA, back to the Navy technology MEDUSA, I posted 3 complete explanations of how it works. It's a mob deterrent technology using microwave sound out loud that goes right in your head. And there's 3 posts on my Twitter page, which is TI Club 3, and that's on Twitter. So we're going to flip the paper over. We talk about dream manipulation and mazers in a moment, but we're going to switch to open mic, which is a bit early, but that's how we do it. And here we go. We discuss synthetic telepathy, synthetic dreams, and CoIntelPro. Now, if you want to speak about our synthetic telepathy, please go ahead. Thank you for talking. And hello, my name's DJ Chris. The mic is open.
Today's my first visit, and I get on the conference calls. I tend to get on them, usually on an election year. Sorry about that. And I'm getting kind of the gist of what your angle is on some of the things that you have an interest in. But I'd like to bring news in regards to what's going on with us TAs. Or TIs,
and as I discussed, this is a synthetic. Do you have synthetic telepathy?
Well, you know, I have effects that I'm affected because I am a TI, but I really don't like to delve into that.
Do you know you're going to be on? Do you know you're on BitChute and you'll be permanently on archive.org? I'm recording right now.
I have no fear about what I have to say about this situation.
You have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes, Richard. I'm just advising you, sir. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I just want to bring some news forward in regards to this occasionally. And also I want to bring up some of the issues in regards to what we could do and say to our politicians about where we can get a cure for our situation, because I look at the symptoms as one thing, but I think the cure is with those legislators. So that's, but I thought I would throw that out. Maybe at some point you might say, you know, why don't we just give a little piece of time for this, because maybe somebody could get some information that's valuable.
You're on every call every night, and this is a synthetic telepathy call. You have 4 minutes.
Yeah, and so, you know, if you ever want to offer some time to us, they want to bring some of this on. I'm not on calls every night.
Us.
Well, if you want to let me speak, that's fine. If you're going to time me.
I'll put the mic on you. You have 4 minutes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to bring that forward. If you wanted to let us throw some news out there, if you want to let us talk about a couple things that could change the course of action and bring a cure, I'm interested. So I'd like to share, but that's pretty much my gist of how I want to operate. And so I wish you the best with your program. Maybe at some point you might invite me to speak about this. And I do get on the calls. I guess apparently you're aware of that. So I wish you the best. I'm going to go get myself a sandwich and maybe some chips. And I might drop back in for a while and see what else people are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Very good. I would prefer you don't come to my call, Richard, but, you know, it's up to you. And I'm not going to argue with you and play your game. So now back to the open mic, dream manipulation. Yeah, I predicted you'd be here, too. That's funky. Dream manipulation, we discussed. the history of masers, I literally got told by my telepathy not to bring up masers, which is a Cold War technology along with lasers, and the Soviet Union was developing it at the same time. And apparently I hit a raw nerve because every time I bring up masers, which is a microwave technology that moves radiation in sync with the signal that it creates, like it's a guide wave. And it's pulsing, which comes alongside of the pulsing technology that we've discussed in these calls. And from the likes of it, from the pushback by my terrorists in my head, I realized that for my safety, I probably shouldn't go much further into it. So instead, I negotiated with them, and this sounds crazy, but I did push back and put 3 solid reports from Stanford University, from their Einstein server, from Wikipedia that had 2 references, back to archive.org, and so that's all I'm going to say about that. But and a Bell Labs video on that subject too. Next subject matter, I was reading in general about satellite technology, and another hidden bit of news that I had to use research to find was the fact that we really do have a Skynet. And I found that in a book I was reading, and that one of these folks from Iraq or Afghanistan said that in fact he was tracked down using Skynet. So there is an actual Skynet, and it is a legitimate technology. It doesn't kill you or shoot you, but it finds you. Do you think Skynet's involved in this? Probably. You do know that when Al Gore claims to have started the internet, but it was the DARPA technology I used at work in high tech in the 80s before internet. And there was the Milnet. See, we went over on the internet, and they went and continued on the Milnet. So there's still that part that they're probably using to track and database and have the digital dossiers they talk about on us, persons of interest. This one caught the attention of a lot of people on Twitter, and that's SCADA, S-C-A-D-A, and I garnered that, pulled it out of a interview, or not interview, but the testimony at the City of Richmond I spoke about, Space Preservation Act, get together, and they passed that. The SCADA is, apparently this one psychologist said they're using SCADA to control the military satellites, and I researched it, and indeed the SCADA is used for controlling satellites. And by the way, the masers, just to throw that in again, they can track any minuscule signal all the way out into space, so of course they can track your brain, by the way, if you didn't know that. The most minuscule
So what
signal.
is SCADA?
And so SCADA is a technology to control your lights, your power, and your sewer at the industrial locations. And that's what they're using to control the military satellites. And there's HC in the house.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. Next one on my list is license plate readers, LPR, or ALPR, as you know, is a way to track license plates, and it's been used for quite a while. It knows how to look at license plates because it knows what characters to look for on the car. My telepathy tells me that they use LPR to track me, and they're actually correct for a long time, and lately they say, we're using LPR on you, and they say, did you go to Sacramento? And every time they say that, I go, no, I've never been to Sacramento. And they go, I guess we didn't pay our bill. Is that the craziest thing you've ever heard? But they have access to LPR technology through the Department of Transportation, which apparently can be hacked by anyone, as I did further LPR investigation. And Vigilance Systems is one of the companies involved in that.
License plate what? What is the R for?
What's that?
You said LPR. What is the R for? License plate what?
Reader.
Oh, reader. Thank you.
Yeah, and
I
it
saw
records it in a database and track you in real time. They have them everywhere now. Even the Scientology people had them in their front yard.
Okay, now this wasn't tracking, but it was identifying somebody's plate. I saw law enforcement.
Everybody uses it. Yes, it's shared by everybody. But anyway, my telepathy. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just a little device that, as the cop walked back from somebody's apartment, I saw him swipe it quickly across the license plate as he walked by it. It was just it wasn't. I'm betting it wasn't. It was probably read it or at least identified it, but it wasn't. It was just a teeny little. You should have seen the little device.
Well, these are big devices the size of a camera.
Yeah,
so
that's what
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next subject matter is V2K telepathy, I call it. Can describe short-term memory events that I have, and that's been going on for 20 years, and I keep forgetting to bring it up, and I wrote it down because they were doing it to me the other day. They can bring up short-term memory events, and my dreams bring up long-term memory events. So I made that observation the other day, and they were doing it to me again, just bringing up stuff I saw on TV or things I said. And again, they absolutely begged me, and I mean begged me, not to discuss masers, M-A-S-E-R-S-O. Your job is to go research masers.
Yeah, we know. We know about masers.
Crazy,
in fact,
huh?
I am convinced James is right when he said, I think it was him, that said that he thought a lot of masers are used on us. I believe, I tend to agree with that.
Very nice. So, like I said, everybody's got a digital dossier based on your device activity and everything you do, LPR activity, where you go, what you shop for, what you say, what you do, social media, everything. They're making a digital dossier. There's buildings all over with yottabyte levels of storage. So. And I'll have open mic here, and then I'll tell you my last subject on the list, and then this time I'm not throwing it out in case somebody asks me something. So I learned about that one, because HC will ask me a question, like, I just threw it out. Okay, I'll do that. Last but not least on my list to talk about, because it's now 6:22 and I'm going to shut up, is my telepathy would start at 8 a.m. every morning for years, on track, and every morning at 8 a.m. it would start, and now it's pretty much all the time. And my question to the world is, if you're watching this and wondering if I'm crazy or not, is that mental illness? Now, how can I wake up at different times of the morning and my telepathy starts at exactly at 8 a.m.? Come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
So, anyway, open mic, I'm done. I've talked amongst yourselves. Hello.
Okay, now when you said it used to start at 8 o'clock, then how long would it go? Would it go till you go to sleep again, or what?
Yeah, and then it would go away and start in the morning again.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, did
Jackie,
you see
can I say something?
Did someone see my post about the black sheep? Yeah, I'm the black sheep of the community, and I'm glad you joined me. Baba Black Sheep is DJ Chris, and hello, Becky. Hello, how are you?
Hi. I just have one thing to say about the dream manipulation or neuromonitoring. So it's my feeling and my opinion that they use some kind of frequencies or something. So you're in a, you're in a stupor altered state of mind, or they're using chemicals. I really don't know which it is or if it's both, but it's not, I mean, if you're going to interrogate someone, you should allow them to be in have their full faculties about them and be alert, and you know what I mean? Instead of,
part of the dreams are interrogation. They're lucid. You participate.
I know, but the thing is, it's like if someone were if there was a drunk person walking down the road and you asked them some serious questions, you know what I mean? Then they wouldn't be able to answer you the same way they would if they were in their complete sober state of mind. So the fact that they do something that alters your state of mind in your sleep, where you're like out of it, you know what I mean? And then they're trying to use it against you, whatever, I mean, they did a disgusting thing the other night to me that had to do with dream manipulation with penises. I mean, it was just sick, and I won't even go into detail. But, I am being a strong Christian woman right now, and I am being morally pure, and I'm not doing anything where I should be being subjected to that, I mean, I don't have anything against penises, but if I wanted to have a penis in my life, I would have one in my day. I wouldn't have it in my sleep.
Thank you.
Excuse my friend, Frank has, but I'm really sick of these dream manipulators. All right, I'll mute.
Hi, who's speaking now? I just heard someone say Chris. I think I'm hearing things. Open mic.
It's me, Ann, from St. Louis.
Hello, Ann in St. Louis.
I'm not doing real well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Maybe I just better read my children's books they want me to read and go to bed.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, all right. Maya culpa, Chris. I'm just gonna listen. Welcome to anyone that's new. I'm sorry.
Anybody else want to speak? Well, it's 6:30 p.m. here in Lodi, and you're listening to DJ Chris. We got a few people here, same folks. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Okay, Richard left. Well, at least he's polite enough to not come back when I told him he's not welcome here. Bless you, Richard, for that. Anyway, anybody want to speak?
I just wanted to say hi.
There you are. I want you to speak. You're the one I want to hear from. Hello, Huggy Bear. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I went to the gym again. I get in the pool and I swim for a couple hours. But the minute I get out, boy, when I get near my house, that's when everything gets started again.
Mm-hmm. They have a geo fence with their technology at your house. Geo.
Yeah, yeah. I still get it wherever I go, but nothing like when I get here. So, and right now, another MP3 player broke on me, so I'm waiting for another one to come. And I will listen to Dave Case's CD. It does help. I have a MP3 in my car, and I'll play it. And the minute I turn it on, I can feel an alertness come about my brain.
I believe you, and I've heard that before, and that happens to me too.
Okay. I'm seeing all kind of people talking to me on Facebook, and they are suffering from major brain damage.
You mean in general, the public, or everyone?
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going through some difficult times. I mean, I go to check my, like I said on the last show, I go to check my email, and there's 5, 6 people dead every hour, or 3 or 2. It's not even funny, and I will not be able to upload the show if I speculate on that. Dr. Todd Grande, I love you. I'll use your word speculate, but I'll speculate and say that it may involve mind control, darling. So yeah, but yeah, and the price of everything,
there's
$8 for a gallon of gas here, and diesel's more, and
I filled up my tank 3/4 of the way today, and it was over 40, and I have a very small car. If I had filled it up, it probably would have went well over 50.
Oh, it's wild. Hello, Whitey. Whitey's in the house. Hello, everyone. We've got a lot of folks in the house. Yeah, I have a big vehicle because I tow my house, and thank goodness I got a small engine, and I didn't get the big RV or the big truck. I got little truck and little RV, and boy, that really came to my advantage because I get 22 miles per gallon in my aluminum-based truck. I drive. I might as well tell you what I drive. It's a Ford aluminum-bodied truck, and it's got a small 3.5 non-EcoBoost engine, and it gets 22 miles per gallon. And when I tow, it gets 16.9, which is amazing. But I haven't towed in a few years because of the COVID. I haven't been able, or haven't felt like it, and it's too crazy out there. I don't think it's safe to leave. And we have
I don't either.
We have our own security here, and I'm just gonna stay home and wait. I'm calling it the purge. But this is being recorded, and yes, in posterity, you'll look back and go, "What are they talking about?" But it's a crazy time in America. So yes, people are brain dead on Facebook.
Last year when Elon Musk shot up all those satellites, and it was well over 30,000. There are people posting from all over the world under the gentleman who wrote the book Electric Rainbow, because electric is involved in this as well. There's electromagnetic radio frequencies, and he's shooting down 5G, which is actually 8G, phase arraying, and at the day that they did that, all these people around the world almost at the same time came up with the same symptoms as targets. As I hear targeted individuals, the same thing.
Well, he wants to do Neuralink, and he is doing Neuralink, and his competitor's getting ready to do human tests on their Neuralink version.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's all in front of you. It's predictive programming, predictive behavior, all in front of you. They do everything in the front, right there. They hide in plain sight, as you know. The secret hands that control, I got a Van Morrison story. Do you remember when Van Morrison got in trouble, or he didn't get in trouble, but his ex-wife sued him, and he was all over the news? Well, that song on my hold is his new song, Long Con, which is I'm a Targeted Individual, and I read his whole story, and that song is about him being targeted in the court system, and he was trying to get his love child back, and they really messed him up too, and he had to make an album about it.
I found another MD, a doctor, a woman, and she's over at Twitter. I banged into it, and she's targeted. She was targeted. And right after that comment she made, she disappeared. There was no more comments from her.
Yeah, that's odd. Was that
I
on
see
Facebook?
That quite on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter, okay. Yeah, Twitter plays games. Be very careful what you say and do on Twitter. It's creepier than crap. I mean,
it is. More than half of them adamant or
I use it to promote I use it to promote this, and that's it. I found my cousin there the other day, but they didn't talk to me, which really made me sad. So now both sides of my family don't speak to me, which is my parents' fault. My parents isolated me. My father did because he was cheap and he didn't want to spend any money driving around. And so my mom was blind, and so I sat on my back, and that's how I'm imaginative. I sat in my bedroom as an only child making up. alternate reality, which I seem to be living in now.
What's that?
I seem to be living in an alternate reality.
I think. Well, they threw all of us into a separate black ops telecommunications signal.
Yeah, we're like a cell phone. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my own that little chip they put in your phone number, the SIM card. We all have our own SIM card, SIM brain. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We spend more money on the trillions more than the cell towers, which are involved with it.
Our perception is altered, and we're all hooked into this supercomputers, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, Honeywell has the fastest quantum supercomputer as we speak. I just posted that. And D-Wave just installed one in California, the latest.
And this is going around the world.
Talked about D-Wave having wet and warm, and talked about hiring demonologists. So, and D-Wave, Canadian company. Jordy Rose said it.
Are you familiar with the WEF, W-E-F by Klaus, with the Who?
No.
The Bilderberg group. Well, it's the Bilderberg group.
They just wrapped up right now. They're all flying home right now. Yeah.
One of the people that are on there is Facebook, and it's run by an AI scientist.
Yeah, well, the Eric Schmidt from Google Days is there, Henry Kissinger, and the guy that runs NATO, and the Pfizer CEO's there, and they're all making plans for you, so you'll be very comfortable owning nothing.
Oh, yeah. Right. Lily would say that. That's what this is. You'll own nothing and love it. And anything they say they're going to do, they've been doing. We know that.
Predictive, and they always tell you, yes. And they do it in movies and books, too, and songs and TV.
Yeah.
I was telling you.
I did not realize that until...
Like Medusa's got a cartoon character whole thing going along with the snakes coming out of the head, and they try and make that sound like it's fandom cartoons, not a mob deterrent technology. They told me I can't talk about masers, so Huggy Bear, your job is to do more research on masers for us. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, man. And you take good care.
Thank you. They're going to send me a mercenary to my house, they said, and I don't believe them, but, isn't that crazy? Yeah. So I must have hit a nerve, right?
Apparently.
Masers. Okay, Huggy Bear, thanks for your input. Any else?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. The time now is 6:37. You're listening to TargetedWest.com. I'm DJ Chris. If you just tuned in, this is a synthetic telepathy and synthetic dreams call and COINTEL, if you're having that, which is gang stalking. Helen Sorba didn't want us to use that word. Bless her heart, I posted an article from her on Twitter, TI Club 3, that's through Romola D, that you can look at. And I have my piece of paper I'm going to save. We're not going to throw these away anymore. We're going to save it. Because I don't have a very good memory. Yeah, so please rest in peace, and let's go ahead and I'm going to pop up my... I think Setsa did this. My God, they stole her from me. Oh, that's odd. Well, she was there the other day. Well, yeah, rest in peace, Helen. She was a civil engineer, an activist, very intelligent, and she has a petition, and if you go to Romola's every day concerned citizen, I can't say it, I'm losing my memory, Romola D's website. You find it, and she just posted a big article, including a spectrum, a picture of how electromagnetic DEWs or directed energy weapons work. So you can discover that if you'd like. And for directed energy weapons, in our previous call, we discussed using EcoSorb from one of the books, Microwaved in Manhattan, and he suggested it, so that's where I got that from. There are other ways to shield if you choose to. Thank you, Wide E. EverydayConcernedCitizen.net. Yes. Thank you. You know, they erased my memory. Either that or it's this soda bubbling my brain. "20 more minutes to the video. Let's see what else I can talk about." Oh yeah, I remember. Word with you people. Don't be spending up all your money on stuff, because that's how I ended up filing bankruptcy. My credit's ruined. Good luck hacking it. And so, you know, be careful what you buy, please. I'm not good at testing things or understanding hardware. I'm good at words, and I'm good at giving out information, and I'm, you know, good at showing up. And this is my 10th call and 10th video, which is pretty cool. Mr. B's here. Hey, Mr. B. Hey. There's Mr. B. That's a whole place. Oh, he let one out. What the heck was that? Oh, I lost a mouse. What did I lose? Oh, that's what it was. Mr. B. Mr. B did not want to be picked up. Oh, there he is. He's right in front of me. Mr. B. Oh, and here comes the cat that's hiding under my seat. She's not feeling too well. There's Sammy. Ooh, he let one out. He's got a gas problem. Oh, geez, cat. Anyway, they come in for their dinner. They have little clocks. So, yeah, please be careful what you buy. Don't spend too much money. Of course, I don't have any money, so I'm probably jealous. Plus, I'm cheap. I always try to give you free options. I have another announcement to make that I'm doing beta testing on, and that is the availability of all 123 books in my book club are available to lend if you give me your email address. I can only lend one book at a time. I think it lets me lend it for 2 weeks. I've done it before. You'd email me at djchris@targetedwest.com if you give me your email, or if you, just email me. And I'll try to figure out how it works. But that way it's free. You can get 2 weeks to read the book, and then it disappears. And that's through Amazon. If you're not into Amazon, then don't worry about it. I try not to villainize Amazon and LinkedIn, Wiki, media or Pedia and stuff like that. People say, don't use any of those sources. Well, I do, and I do use Google sometimes. But for some specialty things, you can't, because they're not there. The internet's been erased. A lot of information I used to have access to is not available anymore to anyone. So it is available at archive.org, and I've told you about the Wayback Machine. You should use that. You find a lot of things on there. Let's see what time it is. I got my old trusty Invicta. The gold hasn't fallen off yet. We've got 15 more minutes. Anybody want to speak? Any new callers?
Is there an after call?
I haven't seen Nanoman or Liz, but I slept until 10 a.m., so I'm able to offer 1 extra hour to you. Would that be appropriate?
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. So you're going to go run till what time?
Hold on, I got a cough.
What?
Until 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 12 midnight East Coast.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Thank you. Right.
No worries. So that way you don't have to leave. You just stay here. And after I record, you can talk all you want. I just got to try to get as many people to speak. That way you guys are all recorded for posterity, you know. Anybody else want to talk on the microphone? No, you're good. Anybody else want to talkie? Tell me a story about your experience. These are all our own experiences. We're all having. No one's experience is the same, as no one's targeting program is the same. Like I said, it's like a template turned into a custom-made suit. You could be put on a list for anything. I'm sure this is how it is in many other countries, too. It's political and social control. Get the people with the biggest mouths like me, you others, that are advocates or activists for certain causes, and we get put on a list because they don't want their narrative to be disturbed, or the fact that they think we're all socialists or communists from my research through the COINTEL FBI history. Boy, they've overworked that thing. And then this is the funniest part. They spent the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and beyond chasing after people that they thought were communists, and now 90% of the stuff we buy and that's made for us is from a communist country. Can you figure that out? I mean, talk about a flip. So I hope they're not still hunting communists, because that wouldn't make any sense, because we sold out. You know, that was NAFTA and before Nixon, and the whole group of people went to China and along with Brzezinski, who Mika, the daughter's on MSNBC with Richard Haas from CFR. So don't watch MSNBC. It's not good. So yeah, they messed us all up with the damn communists hunting us down, calling us communists, and now 90% of our medicines are made in a communist country. Go figure, huh? That's funky. And then now they're chasing us around. You never know what you did. You never know what your charges are. It's usually the foreign court. FICO is your credit score. Foreign courts making decisions about domestic people using the 5 eyes or 12 eyes, and GHQ, or whatever the English UK version of the CIA, and their intelligence agencies coexist and do interchangeable work with us. And if we want to spy on somebody, we'll have someone in the UK do it, so that way we don't get in trouble. And of course, when you want the dirty work done in the United States, you have a contractor do it, and now you blame it on the contractor. See? That way you never, ever get caught, because you deflect, you defer, you point, you redirect everything off to the third party. The art of the third party, the art of the outsourcing. I don't think outsourcing was invented to save money. I think it was just save liability. What do you think? Would you like to speak? Open mic. See what's going on in the chat room.
How about sing?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. You want to sing?
Of course.
Can you sing a religious song? I want to hear a religious song.
Oh. I don't have any right now.
Sing a happy song.
Oh. Don't have any of those either at the moment.
Sing a song, any song.
Trains and boats and planes are passing by. They mean a trip to Paris or Rome for someone else, but not for me. The trains and the boats and planes will bring you back home to me. That's all I remember.
That's a lot. That's pretty good. Thank you. Very good. You know how soothing that is to me? I close my eyes and it really calms me down. You have no idea what value you add doing that.
Thank
you. You're
Last
welcome.
night, Joe Dick told me he thought he was in a field of flowers while I was singing.
Yes. It's true.
So it must help somebody.
It does. And you will never stop doing that. We will keep doing that. We got the chat rooms going hot, and we've got, we're at 30 people right now, which is the amount of people at the moment. And then, of course, people come in and out. I think we had 68 people last week, which I really appreciate. I didn't think that my little show out of my camper was going to be a big deal, but my goodness, thank you guys. And if you're watching me on the BitChute and the other stuff, I really appreciate it. That's incredible. So you guys talk amongst yourself.
We need your call on Sundays. We really need it. So thank you.
Yes, and other than saying a dirty word to someone earlier, I don't swear, so it's just appropriate for Sunday. Sabbath. I was raised a Mormon, strict Mormon, so we were always having Sabbath.
I must have missed the dirty word if it was tonight. Oh, well.
It wasn't that bad.
Dirty bird?
No, it wasn't that bad. I like to be able to have anyone be able to listen to this because I always put it, for... Someone says, awesome Mormons are awesomely nice in my experience. Well, I'm nice, but not all Mormons are nice because my mom and I had to quit when I was a teenager and escape from Mormon Mountain. We had to not answer the phone, the door, and peep out when we go outside because they were hunting us down. They're like the Scientologists and the Mafia. You can never leave. And my dad was giving them tithing, which is 15 to 20% of his money. So they were losing money, and they were just starting the new ward, and they needed the money. They needed the money. They needed the money. They needed the money. So they wouldn't leave us alone. See, you know what it's about? Money. Why do I need to worship God or Jesus Christ through a third party when I can do it directly for free? I just look up to the sky and talk to the man directly. I don't need a third party or have to drive down and get a suit on. I can do it without that. So I figured it all out a long time ago to be spiritual. You don't need that.
Plus, I found the Mormons were targeting me.
I told you in a previous call, most FBI agents are Mormons and most intel and most people in that business are Mormons because they're the only ones that can pass the lifelong drug-free test.
Oh, no, I remember you saying that part, but I didn't know about...
That means they put you on a lie detector to see if you did drugs. They don't test you. You can never do drugs. But now, since people smoke marijuana a lot, they've laxed on the marijuana part, but everything else is new. Lifelong. That's why it's all Mormons. Do you see?
Wow.
And the Mormons are an offshoot of the Freemasonry. Joseph Smith basically copied Freemasonry, made his own version, and a lot of the pomp and circumstances, a lot of the images, all the stuff at the main office there in Utah is all off of Freemasonry.
Wow, never knew that either. Amazing.
Yeah, Bill Schonenberg, who is the guy with the big beard, he's on YouTube and he talks about different religions. Explain that to me. I watched hours of him. Yeah. It's a pseudo Christianity church or ward. It's not real Christianity. It's pseudo. And
Now
like I say, if you have to go door to door to sell your religion, then there must be something wrong with it, because with the Catholics, just open a door and everybody shows up. So, you know. You know what I mean? Because, you know, the Mormons think that they came from a different planet, Kolob, K-O-L-O-B. And you'll have a denier scream and yell at me and say, that's not true. Well, it's true. And then the Scientologists have the thing where they chase you around with a camera and they call you a suppressive. So you can never leave the Scientology, you can never leave the Mormons, you can never leave the Mafia. And so, you know, you can never probably leave Freemasonry either. My dad was a master Mason. I grew up in a strict Mason house. He was a dirtbag. I call him a flea Mason, like a flea. Wasn't the man of the house. He was just some guy that laid in bed and smelled. And worked 10,000 jobs that he never got anywhere. But he wasn't mean. He was financially abusive and dismissive and made you feel like you were worthless, which unfortunately is carried on to my adulthood, which I'm always working on. But yeah, he got that going. But I told myself the other day I'm going to do a mobile erase and forget about the past, because it's time to enjoy today. Like Einstein said, drink, eat, and be merry. And Einstein, of course, is the person behind, I guess the maser was first discussed by Einstein in 1919. So that's an older technology. And then, of course, it came to fruition and was able to use it in 1953. And, of course, we're going to wrap up. Of course, this is DJ Chris. I'm glad if you're watching me on BitChute.com, YouTube, or Internet.org, or you clicked on me on my Twitter page. I appreciate it. I appreciate your coming and spending your time with me. I appreciate everyone talking. And we'll wrap this up after 7 p.m. and then we'll go to open mic for 2 hours. And unless we have, I don't see Nano Man or Liz, and I am going to have to make an executive decision that I'm going to have an after hour until 9 p.m. midnight East Coast time. So stay tuned, because I slept till 10 today. I got up early. I took my Cymbalta, which is my antidepressant. I have depression way longer than the targeting. I mean, it could be part of the targeting. Be the fact that I grew up with a Freemason. I took my pills and went back to bed and woke up. It was 10 o'clock, so I can have a late call. Usually I'm worn out by 8 o'clock. And I had some crazy dreams last night. Last night I was at the bar I used to work at, and the owner of the bar was standing there, and I was on the floor talking to him. What the hell? Weird dreams. They wear me out and put me in a bad mood. It takes me a while to adjust after that. And they can go on all the way until you wake up, and I'm not the only one in the household getting them. I don't stay up. I have to get my sleep or I don't function well at all. I'm not good at functioning sleep without when I'm sleep deprived. For some reason, it just, as I got older, I used to when I was younger I could do that, but I'm over 60 now. Well, next week, what were we going to talk about? Next week, I haven't really written anything out. If you have any suggestions for next week's show, please email me at djchris@targetedwest.com. I check my email 3 or 4 times a day. Johnny on the spot. I answer every email. Okay, thank you for watching the video, and this concludes the video. Have a great evening. See you next week for show 11.